Welcome, everybody. Welcome to your Brisbane Kickstart. This is your call to ask any question that you'd like to and find out a little bit about the 3-day event and find out a bit more about Fiona and I. So here we go. We've started the recording. So if you are listening as well afterwards and you've got questions, please post them in the chat that you've received or send back an email. Hey, Fiona.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, everyone. Hi, ladies. It's super exciting to be here. I just got my case out and I'm starting to pack because we fly out on Wednesday morning at some ungodly hour and we can come over and visit you guys. So how's everyone been? And I hope you're all excited. We are here and we're excited about what we're going to be able to present in Brisbane. We've done lots of these and it's totally normal if you're feeling a bit scared or you're wondering how you're going to feel coming alone to the event. But I want to just put those fears aside because most women do come on their own and most women are fairly nervous. Some even sit in the car and contemplate should they walk in or not. And we wanted to invite you and make sure that you do, because these 3 days are going to be amazing for you. The girls come in scared and they go out by morning tea break. You're feeling good, you've already met some new friends. We make it really easy, so we're looking forward to meeting you and we're going to have a great time together.
Ladies, down the bottom of the Zoom chat, if you're on a laptop or iPad, there's a little like a comic bubble that you can actually, it says chat. So you can actually click on that and it comes up with a little chat on the side. And so I'd love to hear maybe what suburb or regional area you're from. Just pop in there and just shout out a hi. And we're going to go to questions in a few minutes. So we're going to give you a chance to have a think about something that you're wondering about for the event. If you're a bit nervous, maybe it's just a wave or a show of hands. Who's coming on their own? All by themselves. I know. So well done to you. Just being here on the call is incredibly brave, and the ability for you to be able to, show up for yourself, maybe for the first time in a long time, because you've been showing up for your family, your kids, maybe your ex, and certainly you've been putting you last. So this is you putting you first for a weekend, and that commitment to come for the 3 days it's a huge thing that you're doing, and I really acknowledge you for that. Well done. You deserve to be proud. Okay.
So ladies, like Sandra said, if you've got any questions, just feel free to put them in there or wave your hand around like this. And this call is about, just getting, allowing you guys to get to know us if you weren't on the call last week, or, you can ask anything and we can share a little bit about what we do and why we do this work. So maybe we can kick off there. Sandra and I are both country girls, married farmers. I was a city girl that married a farmer, and Sandra was a country girl that married a farmer. So I think, for us, we've lived exciting, adventurous, challenging lives, and we've had some great times, and we've also had some sadness because both of us have been through divorce. So if you're going through a separation or a divorce, or you've already been through a divorce, then we very much understand the journey that you're traveling. And we have a lot of ladies who are at all different stages. Some ladies are still married, some ladies have lost their husbands, and other people are going through the separation and divorce thing. So it doesn't really matter where you're at. What Sandra and I are really good at, and what we, are super excited about, is we help take you from wherever you are to where you want to be. And we believe that that's a transitional journey. Sandra and I have both been successful business women. We've had big teams. We've run our own businesses. We both started from scratch. We both built ourselves up and our families up to become self-sufficient and financially independent. And so the way that we do our businesses is the way that we bought into our divorce recovery journey. And so we started with a goal in mind of where we wanted to end up. we had to create that goal of, you know, I wanted my family to be healed. I wanted my kids to have a good relationship with their dad. I wanted to have a good relationship with their dad. I wanted us to be able to still do family events and things like that together. And so these were the goals that I had in my head. And even though when I was going through my separation and divorce, especially in the early days, you know, I wondered if we were ever going to get to that place. But that's the vision that I held in my mind, because I know that it's really important for kids to have, you know, a healthy relationship with both of their parents. And I knew for me, I didn't want to suffer. I didn't want to stay stuck, because when I was angry and when I was sad and when I was, you know, feeling like I didn't have a future, that made me feel like, you know, I wasn't going to enjoy the rest of my life. And I got to that place and I just decided that that's rubbish. I'm not going to allow that to define me, and I'm not going to allow that to stop me. So I created a vision of what I wanted my life to look like. And then I acted like I was a businesswoman. I put a plan in place, I put a strategy in place, and then I started taking action. And the magic formula here, ladies, is action. 100%. You know, you can go to therapists, you can go to, you know, counselors, you can go to psychologists, psychiatrists, whoever. But when you just talk about your problems, what we see, and I've studied family therapy, I've studied strategic intervention, I've studied NLP, I've studied life coaching, but none of those are as good as what it was me having practical tools and skills, going through this myself, picking myself up from the floor and rebuilding myself and my family. They were the best tools that I learned, because they're practical tools that I use every single day. But using those tools, the thing that I learned is I've got to take action. I've got to have a plan. I've got to have a strategy. So now I get out of bed every day. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I'm focused. And because I put that plan in place, my life started to dramatically change. And I started to be able to move forward. And, you know, I every day created, you know, advancements in my mind, in what I was doing, my actions, and the progress I was making, the results I was getting. And now I have everything that I created in my mind, that picture that I created. My kids are happy and healed. They've got a great relationship with their dad. Their dad was here with his new wife just on a few days ago. We have Christmases and everything together, the kids' weddings and grandchildren we share and all those things. And I've got a beautiful relationship with my kids, and I've got a beautiful partner. So everything that I wanted. We travel, we have fun, we've got beautiful friends. So I want to just encourage you, ladies, this is our time to reset. And we want to show you how we did it, because we know what we do works. And we've helped thousands of ladies, literally. And we've got 20,000 in our Facebook group. We've done these 3-day events for the last, you know, so many years. And we work with groups every week. You know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, we have multiple groups of girls that we're working with who are going through the same journey. So we know that what we're teaching is getting results. And that's why we do this work. And that's what we're passionate about. So that's what we're going to be showing you over the 3 days, a step-by-step journey, so you can actually start moving yourself in the direction of your goals. So this week, before we get there, I want you to start thinking, if you could wake up and your life could be how you want it to be, I want you to start seeing that picture in your mind and start thinking about what is possible for me. And, you know, give you a little bit of warning. That little negative voice is going to jump up and he's going to go blah, blah, blah in your ear. You just say, thanks for sharing, but I'm not listening to you. I'm just having a think about what could be possible for me. So who's excited about that? Who thinks that that would be fabulous, to be able to shake ourselves off and leave all that shit behind us, all the old hurt and the, you know, the pain and the disillusionment? And who thinks it'd be wonderful to leave that behind us and for us to start again? And that is what this is all about. So excellent. I'm excited. Miss Sandra?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things we've gone through together, well, we've been friends for near on 20 years, and going through our divorces was pretty much about a month or so apart, and neither of us were expecting the timing or it to even happen. We both were blindsided, and I think one of the things that we both looked around was and Fiona certainly went more global than I did, but looking for someone that you can get good advice from. And getting advice that you can navigate your kids, whether they're young or whether they're old. I've gone through 2 divorces, one after an 18-year relationship. My kids were only 5 and 8. And then the second one when my kids were then 18 and 21. And I didn't do the work and the healing on myself after the first marriage. And I ended up very quickly, a year later, in a second relationship, and it just evolved. It was with someone I knew, and we came together knowing what I know now. Looking backwards, we came together in our brokenness, and we both came together looking for someone to save us. And we thought we were helping each other, and we thought we had all these things in common, but it wasn't what we had in common that was healthy. It was our brokenness that was what we had in common. And it was only years later that I started doing the work, and I was again leading businesses, my own businesses in Australia, then went on to be global leader of a business that had 800 employees. And from the outside, everything looked really that I had it together, that I was able to go into boardrooms, able to lead a company right through to a listing. But then at home, everything had fallen apart. And, it's that brave face we have to put on to get to work and in front of the kids and in front of our family and friends, so that when your marriage does break up, quite often they think that this has just happened and that you've never shown emotion before, and how come you're not coping like you normally would? And our friends and family don't know what to say either. So they're well-meaning and they care and love us, but we need practical tools and strategies to be able to navigate the financial settlement, how to go in with a mediation or not, whether we go through and we represent ourselves or not, how to go through and set things up so that we're even past our financial settlement and we're maybe navigating a new relationship. And we know that second relationships, there's a higher divorce rate, nearly double that of first divorce rates of first marriages. And then our third marriages have even a triple divorce rate again, because we don't learn our lesson. We don't learn what we needed to learn. And it's us that is the common denominator. We're the ones that travel through, and we go and we don't end up putting ourselves first. We don't learn, we don't grow in a way that is a healthy way to be able to know that we have to fill our own cup first and be able to only give from that source. So this is our way on Sunday. We know when you leave that you're going to have a lot of ideas, some strategies, some tips, some things in your own little toolbox that we know will move you forward. And we want you to have hope. We want you to have a plan, a hope, and a smile, and some great connections, and have had a weekend of some learning, some fun, and know that there's people out there that are going through the same thing that you are. Everyone's different and in their own little swim lane, but there are commonalities with everything and where you're going as well. And you'll find people that you can share and talk to that totally get you as well.
So, ladies, we often get asked some questions like, where do you girls come from, thinking wise? And so we are not man haters. We want to make sure that you know that. We love men, we love family, we love our communities. And so for us, it's about healing. And the only person we can actually control is ourselves. And so that's why we focus on healing ourselves. We let our exes go do whatever they need to do, and we focus on getting over the pain, being able to rebuild, being able to reinvent ourselves, and being able to create a beautiful new life. And we are the one person we can control. So it's not about who's right, who's wrong. At the end of the day, it's all irrelevant. Who you are right here, right now is the person that you've got control over. And we want you to get, wind beneath your wings so you can fly, so you can do all the exciting things that you want to do. And just because we've gone through a separation or divorce does not mean that we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. We should use this as an opportunity for us to get to know ourselves again. So how many of you ladies feel like you've lost yourself? You know, how many of you look back and you think, God, I don't even know who I am anymore? You know, when I was younger, you know, I can remember being happy and free and you know, being so independent and confident and having the confidence to try new things. And here I am at this stage of my life, you know, feeling like a shell of who I used to be. Who felt like that? Yeah, and I know for myself, you know, I'm smart, switched on, and I was a businesswoman, and I, you know, at work I kill it, but when I went through this divorce, it brought me to my knees. Literally, it brought me to my knees, and you know, I wondered what life was all about. I never saw it coming. You know, never thought I did anything wrong either. Thought it was all him. That's a story I went with as well for a while. But you know, I from that place, I just got to the point one day and I just said, I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to be sad. I'm not, you know, every time I was sad, I made my kids sad. And then they ended up not talking to me about how they were feeling because they didn't know how to fix me. And their walls went up if I said anything about their dad. And so, you know, what I do know is that no one gives us a rule book to be able to navigate through this. What I know is that a lot of family and friends have no idea what we're going through. And I also know that, you know, a lot of the advice out there and what you're told to do, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you and it's not healthy for your family. And so, you know, what we do is give you other tools and skills and ways of thinking. And, you know, over the 3 days, you'll learn so much. It is very content rich. There is so much that we're going to go through, but we actually take you through a journey. So we start when you were younger. And so you understand who you are and how you were formed and why you do the things you do and why you chose the men that you chose, why you know, stayed in the relationship or how you communicate or, you know, all of those things. You're going to get to know yourself. And then we're going to start looking at what you want for yourself now. And we're going to create some new goals and we're going to create, you know, a vision of what you want in your head. And then we're going to set you free on Sunday and you're going to have a spring in your step. You're going to be great about yourself and you're going to be excited about the future. And, you know, Sandra and I do every event we do, we love it because we see the transformation over the 3 days. So, you know, it's important that you prioritize yourself. You put this time aside. And, you know, we've had so many ladies say to us, well, I just thought I'd come for the first day and see what it was like. And if it wasn't good, I wasn't coming back. But they're all there on day 3. So that might tell you.
So ladies, we're going to ask you some questions. Have you got any questions that you'd like to ask us? And, you know, don't be shy because this is your chance to start learning to be brave and using that voice we might not have been able to use for a while or had a lot of practice using. You know, one of the things, so if you do want to ask a question, down the bottom is a little, it's a little raise your hand sort of indicator. You can pop that up. If you can't find it, just wave madly and we'll see you waving. And, you know, one of the things, you know, we've got it at the Brisbane Convention Centre. It's a beautiful big facility. It's got public transport right there, plenty of parking underneath and nearby. And, you know, one of the things for the convention centre is there is a cafe there on the ground floor and there are nearby eateries. But what I do encourage you to do is to come prepared to invest in you and commit to you this weekend. So what I would not be doing is getting there late, making sure that you get there with plenty of time on the Friday morning. We start on time. We start at 9 o'clock. And what we encourage you to do is come from 7:30 onwards. So between 7:30 and 9, you can come in, bring a coffee and a cup and get yourself settled. We get you to fill out a few goals and you've got to do registration when you arrive, but you get a chance to start talking to some of you other beautiful girls that are even on here and say hi and be brave. And then we finish each day just around 5:15. And on the Saturday and Sunday is exactly the same. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we start every day at 9. We encourage you to come from 7:30. But if you wanted to bring, we do have morning tea breaks. We do have a lunch break, and we do try and stay on time, and we are pretty good at it. And we have an afternoon tea, more of a toilet break for afternoon tea. So morning tea and lunchtime, if you would, you can go out and get a coffee, but you can imagine a few hundred women all going to get a coffee at the same time. There's always queues. But so bring along a thermos, or bring along a cup that's got going to keep hot. You can also on this bring along a lunch. The Brisbane Convention Centre doesn't advertise that you can eat lunch in there, but certainly there's plenty of space in there that you could just park up on a seat and a chair. And plenty of girls have and had a bit of a sandwich or a salad as well. So if you're not always on, if you can't be on time, just get there when you can, but because you've got school drop-offs. But if you can get there early, get there early. We finish at 5:15 on the Saturday. For those that are VIPs, we've got a special VIP networking, and it's just nearby. It's just next door at the Mantra, which is on South Bank. It's right on the same street, Grey Street, as the convention centre, and we'll show you how to get there. Our team will be there navigating as well. It's literally a few minutes walk. The Mantra is for VIP networking straight after the event from 5:15, 5:30 until about 8:30. So you get to get a complimentary drink when you arrive and some snacks, but then you can buy some more drinks. But the big thing is you get to talk to us, come up and mingle, ask us anything. You get to talk to the girls that are crewing. All of our girls and volunteers that are crewing that you're going to be getting greeted by at registration. The girls are amazing. They've come to these events before. We only ran our first event in Brisbane in April last year. April this year. This year. It was only this year.
Yeah, it was.
It feels like so long ago. You had your little well, it wasn't little, a cyclone, and it pushed us back a few weeks, but it was in April. And so that's the only time we've been to run the event in Brisbane. And so the girls that came along to that event, many have said they want to come back and crew at this event because they know how challenging it was for many of the girls arriving on the first day, and they wanted to welcome you. So you've got a really warm welcome party when you arrive, and they're just coming at they're volunteering to be there. So just say hi to them. The girls will be in a white shirt. Make sure you give them a g'day, and then that's pretty much it. I think the big thing is that the content's there. Bring a pad and pen if you want to. There's going to be pads and paper and pens there, but it's always nice to, if you've got a little journal or book you want to take notes in as well. So that's but we do get little stretch breaks through the days, and we keep you entertained. We can get you to move chairs around, and we encourage you to meet other people, so you're really building up that circle of your own community as well that's local. Yeah.
So tell us, ladies, what made you, when you saw us on Facebook, we always say when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And so if you wonder how the hell we knew that you were ready, that's just a secret of social media marketing. But, you know, we believe that. We don't think there's any coincidences in life. You know, often we don't even know what's available. And honestly, there's not many of us in the world who believe what we believe and teach what we teach. We don't believe in keeping people stuck. We're all about moving them forward. And so, you know, if you're seeing the ad and you booked a ticket, there's no accident that you're supposed to be here. That's the way we think about it. So, you know, what made you make a decision, ladies? Tell us. You know, we always love to hear that. And you might be getting emails. Some people say they don't get any emails. Some people say they get too many emails, but we always try and stay in connection and communication with you guys. And so if you're not getting emails, they will be in your spam folder. So check your spam folder if you are not getting emails from us. We keep in contact regularly. And if you are a general ticket, if you can afford it, this is not me saying this because I want your friggin' money. That's not what it's about. If you can afford it, I would strongly recommend that you upgrade, because one of the best value things is you get a 100-page workbook. There is so much content that we cover over the 3 days. We're just one session after another, and we go through all these different interesting things. We put a lot of the notes into the workbook, and the girls tell us they take their books away, they have it by their bedside, they just go over things, over and over things, because you will learn more in these 3 days than you will in 10 years of therapy. I can promise you that. And so having it to be able to go back to is a godsend. So not only do you get your workbook, and you also get the networking event that's included as well. And you also get a heap of videos and things from Sandra and I. And you also get 3 months free membership, what's worth $140 or something like that, to our 3 months into our Connected Women's community. What means that you're going to be able to have a community of beautiful girls to connect into for 3 months after the event. And that's usually $47 a month, and we're giving you 3 months free. And so you get to be able to stay in connection, have weekly calls. So one of our mentors runs the calls. You get weekly calls where you can ask the girls anything. All the girls on the calls from our team are all senior. They've been through our programs. They can answer anything you need them to answer. And so that's all included in the $97 VIP package. So you can see this is not about making money. And just so you know, I like to tell you this so you do understand. The tickets are costing us at the moment. Facebook advertising has gone nuts. The tickets for you to come to the event are costing us over $500 per seat at the moment. And so every person we've got in the room, it costs us over $500. So we subsidize the tickets. Sandra and I, we make them available at $47 for this general and $97 for the upgrade. There is no money in it for us. We are doing it because we don't want any woman not to be able to have this opportunity to have the education, because that's what we believe is the best thing in the world for you guys right now. It was what saved us. It's what saved hundreds of thousands of, ladies that we've worked with, and through online communities and programs and, all the different things that we do. And we know that, when a mama heals, she heals her whole family. When you feel good about yourself, when you are over the hurt and the pain, when you are not reliving the past, that's what's good for your family and your kids. And so we know if we can work with you, then you're going to be able to bring that into your family, that healing. And that's what Sandra and I, do this work for. We were both retired a few years ago, and we got together on a Boxing Day.
It was Boxing Day, and we had a frozen margarita out by the pool, and we thought, what are we going to do? We'd totally stopped working, and yes, we were already a bit bored, and we were like looking around thinking, what could we create? And that day we registered a business, and it was called the Empowerment Adventure, because we said, whatever we want to do, we want to be able to empower others, and we want to be able to make it an adventure and have a life ahead that's filled with fun, filled with adventure. And also we both have significant others. We both have partners. I've got a husband now. Fiona's got fiance, and we wanted them to be a part of what we do, so that when we move forward, that we're doing it together as a team. And we started the business together, setting it up how we wanted to, and growing it from there. Fiona had already set up Women on Transition several years before, and had stepped away to retire, and it had sort of been with COVID parked, and Fiona goes, well, why don't we do this and get this back out? And it makes such a difference. And so that's where it all evolved from. One of the things that we know is that doing it on your own, it's near on impossible. Going through separation, divorce, or widowhood, and having to navigate, with good advice that's, somebody's going to tell you that's an unreasonable friend is going to tell you, not what you want to hear. Somebody that's going to tell you the what you want to hear versus what you need to hear. And that's the difference between having somebody be moving you through so that you actually are processing and moving forward and actually progressing to having that life that you want, lifestyle that you want, and a life that you're living by design. One person said to me years ago, well, what do you actually want to do, Sandra? And I couldn't tell them. I couldn't tell them what I wanted to do. I couldn't even think of something that I actually wanted to do. I'd been such a focus on, I've been a mum, single mum for most of that, and been a wife and been somebody else, for somebody else all the time, that I didn't even have in the space of my mindset of being able to think what I actually wanted to do. And that blank canvas was just sitting there blank. There was nothing on it. And it was only after me doing the work on myself that I gave myself permission to be able to be brave, to be able to think bigger, and to be able to grow into a place that I was excited about life again and was living it to where I am now, and waking up knowing that I make a difference, knowing this is where I want to be and I don't want to do it any other way. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so many of you ladies are saying about, you've been putting yourself and your life on hold, you've been sort of stagnating. And, Sandra and I see ladies that, it's not just 1 or 2 years, it's 5, 10, 20 years. And it just becomes a pattern. So many ladies we talk to, they say that they go to work, they come home, empty house, TV dinner, Netflix, wasting time on social media, and that's all the time that you need to be spending on putting into you and creating this beautiful new life. You might have seen some of our pictures, like we just got back from Bali, and we had 2 back-to-back retreats in Bali with 40 and 50 ladies, and they were having the time of their life. All these old girls, all of us 50 and 60, and having the time of our life. We went what is it called, rafting and four-wheel motorbiking and cooking classes, and we went to the temple and had blessing ceremonies, and just absolutely beautiful. But the girls walk away with these beautiful communities of women around them. And for myself, I often used to be scared of women and didn't have a lot of girlfriends, and I was very driven and focused, and never wanted to be broke again. When I got married, we had no money, and I made it my job to get a job and earn money, and then I just got on that pathway, and I didn't have time for girlfriends and didn't have time for myself. And that's something that I've really got out of this and through this journey, is that how beautiful it is to be surrounded in women who actually are beautiful women, who see our souls. And together, the girls call themselves each other's shine sisters or soul sisters, because they actually see who they are as a person and they love them from inside out. And I think it's really special to have friends like that.
Awesome. So there's some great questions in here. And if you've got some logistical questions about the Brisbane Convention Centre, which I see somebody has got one here, Rachel, you can email our support team, support@womenontransition, it's one word.com. You can also go to the Brisbane Convention Centre, BCEC, Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre.com, and they'll tell you how to park, how to get in, which way, if you're coming from off and on the main roads, artery roads, or the bus, or whichever way you're coming from, they'll tell you which is the easiest way to park. And you can always ring the convention centre too, and they'll give some logisticals to enter there as well. So I'm going to leave that there. And look, ladies, I think the big thing is we always say every day there's obstacles in front of you, and this is you just choosing, well, I'm going to be there. This is my 3 days, and I'm going to get there under, over, around, or through whatever I have to make it happen. We had one of our events that was right in the middle of the Sydney Marathon, and they closed all the roads around the whole golf course of where we were actually having the event. And we're just like, how are people even going to get to us on the Sunday? And yet we set up a plan, and the girls all showed up and they made it happen. And This is just, if you want to get there enough and you want to be there, you will make it happen. And this is you now for you working out how you can pull out the old resource, tools and find them and work out how to make it work. Because I know you can do it, and we're looking forward to seeing you when you arrive. But yes, feel that don't feel that you can't bring snacks and sandwiches or salad or something in if you want to. We only offer food for the platinums. They get to have lunch every day with Fiona and I, and morning tea with the team and themselves, and they get to be able to network a little separately. So the platinum ticket is a little bit more of an investment, as Fiona touched on earlier, but that does include your food. You can, if you are getting in, you're choosing to go to platinum, please confirm that tomorrow, because I've actually sent off the dietary requirements today, but I think I'd be able to squeeze another couple in if there are any gluten-frees or anything special that needs to be done, but that's just for the platinums. This ticket is an upgrade of $497 for the 3 days, and you do get a $500 credit back if you do choose at the end of it to do anything further with us or go forward in one of our coaching programs. You get the $500 that you've invested back to commit to yourself for the weekend. We give it back to you, put it towards a program. So it's a win-win for you. We know that people invest in themselves are the ones that, will keep wanting to work hard and show up and put the time and effort into all things that they do as well. But we know some people aren't there yet. They haven't quite got to that point that they can afford it and come along with the 47. That's why we funded it, and the 97 as well. That just covers the VIP networking on the Saturday as well as the workbook as well, and a few downloads that they get too. So ladies, it's such a great weekend. Have we got any questions? You girls I love that I know you're going to get there, and we're going to have trouble getting everyone to pay attention to us because you'll be so busy talking to each other. You get the workbook when you register.
Yeah.
When you turn up, you get handed a workbook, you get handed a VIP name badge, and you get a drink voucher on the Saturday as well when you go across the networking on the Saturday evening. And the VIP, the workbook's yours for the weekend. Put your name on it, write in it. Many of the girls use it for their notebook, and they'll put lots of action notes in there too. So, or even phone numbers of some of the girls that they're meeting up with, so that they can stay connected after the 3 days, which is really powerful. I saw some of you all coming from similar Gold Coast or other different regional areas, which is wonderful. And
keep your eyes out. I'm sure you'll meet lots of people if you're coming in on the train. That's what usually happens. And by the time they get there, they've already met some new friends. So yeah. Just want to also mention, ladies, we have got a new ticketing system for this event. So all going well, you will get an email and a SMS on the 24 hours before the event. So it'll be on Thursday. You will get a message, what will give you a barcode. And then when you get to the event, we're going to scan your barcode, and that tells us that you're at the event, and we will give you a lanyard and a name tag. And
it's not a lanyard, just a name tag.
Oh, sorry, a name tag. And so you're going to get that, so then we know that you're there that day. Every day we're going to scan you in. So we're trying this new big technology.
Paperless. Paperless.
Well, it should make no queues like last year. And if it doesn't, we go back to our manual system. So
when you get there, you'll have a link on your phone or, that has come through. So you just show that to the girls at registration, and they'll just put it on there. They've got a little app on their phone. They'll just scan it, and it just shows on their phone immediately that you've registered, and that's it. And they'll just give you a name badge, and we get everyone to fill in their own name badges. So you get to put lots of decorations and fun things on it if you'd like to. And it's just super easy. Yeah, we want to keep it like it's really fast. Yeah. And then you have more time for mix and mingling.
Okay, any questions, ladies? You are such a quiet lot.
I bet they won't be on Sunday. We're on Saturday. That's good, ladies. It's going to be so much fun, and the big thing is to know that we've got you and we've got your back. There's nothing that we haven't been able to manage and handle over the course of having thousands of girls come through these 3-day events. And we know that you're all in a unique and individual situation, yet the learnings that you'll hear and see and we'll be sharing, you'll be able to use pieces of those and into your own individual lives. And you'll see from, hearing and examples, we're going to have other girls, share their stories. You'll hear from people in the audience sharing questions or sharing stories or, sharing responses, and you'll get to be able to hear lots of different ways of being able to process things, and hope as well, stories of real hope that other girls have been exactly where you've been or differently to where you've been, but not same, but different. And they've been able to move forward as well. So that's where we want you to be, is know that you've got, and you're not on your own. Yeah.
So, ladies, if you haven't checked out our website, it's Women on Transition, all as one word.com. So there's some free resources. There's some blog posts, hundreds of blog posts that I've written. There's a free Facebook group. So if you're not in our Facebook group, join our Facebook group. Sandra and I often do videos, and we've got a lot of content in there, a lot of articles that we do. And so you can have a look and check us out. Go to our results page, our success stories. We've got literally hundreds of ladies telling you their story. And, the truth is that most people come to us when they've already tried everything else. And it's like, oh, I've got nothing to lose, or so a lot of ladies have already tried everything else by the time they do find us. And listen to their stories, because they're inspiring. They're like our role models, because they show you just like, and you might see that you're just like where they were. A lot of them are feeling really stuck and just don't know how to move forward. And then they tell you about what happens to them over a relatively quick time frame, 3 months, 12 months, and they change their whole life. So if it's possible for them, we know that it's possible for you. To me, it doesn't really matter where you are. What matters to me is that you've got the attitude that you want to change things. Once you make that decision, you want to change things, then it's absolutely possible to do.
Absolutely. And we've got some of the girls that have volunteered to be there from our April event to be sharing their stories from April to October. So that's going to be pretty incredible. We never know what they're going to say, but we do know that they're inspiring, and they inspire us as well. Just the fact that they've taken action from the event and they've pulled out those, the toolbox is there, but sometimes you keep falling over, and they've picked themselves up and they've gone again. And that's what we really want to share with you, that, it's not just one thing that's a fix it all. It's lots of things that you need to put into play in all areas of our life, our health, our mental health, physical, and also into the areas of our life that's about us learning and growing in finance, in our making sure that we're self-confident, we don't get picked off by a scammer, or we start going onto dating apps, that we've got the confidence there to say no, and we're not, super keen just because somebody likes us. We're more discerning on who we're choosing, and we know what red flags are and even how to find and identify them. So we're going to touch on all of this over the weekend, but certainly there's going to be a lot that you'll be able to take away to be able to really put into play into practical everyday life.
Yeah, and we don't, we're not going to tell you what to do. We know that some women never want to ever be in another relationship. We know some women absolutely know in their heart that they'd love to be in a new relationship if they could choose the right person, and it could be a healthy relationship. So, what we're going to show you is lots of, ways that you can move forward and live life on your terms. So that's what's important to us. We're not dogmatic. We don't tell you have to do it a certain way. We just show you the tools and the skills, and then you get to live your life on your terms. And that's what's, important, that you are happy, that you're fulfilled, that every day you jump out of bed and you're excited about what you got ahead of you, rather than, so many ladies tell me they don't even want to get up in the morning when they first, come to us, and don't even want to get out of bed, and they've lost, they've lost their confidence, but they've also lost their desire to have anything more. And I just think that's a waste, ladies. We've got one life, and regardless of what we've been through, I do 100% believe you've got the ability to change it if you want to.
We're only halfway through, girls.
Yeah. Very sorry, but if I do drop off, my battery is playing up. So that's just wanted to give you that heads up. Okay. Sandra's probably kicking me under the table if we were in the same house, but I'm just warning you.
Okay. Well, ladies, we are gonna post this into the group chat, aren't we? Women Healing Growing Fee. Is that where it's going, or does it go out?
No, we're going
No?
to email it out to registrants.
Okay.
Just registrants. Tomorrow you'll get a copy of this email
Okay.
out to you, so you can go over it again if you want to.
Yeah, and I know some of you arrived in a bit late, so you missed the start. You know, you can watch that again, or if you had to leave early, you can watch the end. But certainly, there's been, the main thing is show up. Everything that you can work out and under, around, and through, you can do it. You've got this, and we've got you. And looking forward to seeing you on Friday morning, bright and early from 7:30.
So, all right, ladies, any final questions? Don't worry about what you wear, just something nice and comfortable. Bring a jacket, because
Bring a
sometimes
jacket.
it's really hard for us to control the air conditioning.
Yeah.
So just bring a jacket just in case. So some food, some drinks, a jacket, and a notepad if you're general. If you're VIP, you really got plenty of space in your books to take your notes. And yeah, great attitude. That's about all you need.
Looking forward to seeing you there and giving you a high five or a hug when you get in there. All right,
All
ladies.
right, see you girls.
Safe
Have an
travels
awesome
in.
night.
Bye.
Okay, bye.